Hello Redditors, welcome back to Tales Against Humanity. Now, let's get started. In today's episode,
You offered to help, but I don't want help that way. Hello all. I haven't had any stories for some time, mainly since switching roles. I'm now dealing with more competent users. But occasionally someone slips through the cracks and leaves me baffled. The cast for today's story. Me, your narrator and the protagonist of this tale. User, doesn't really seem like he wants help, you'll understand. On the day this story had taken place, I had just cleared out my ticket backlog and was bored. I decide to run to the bathroom and come back. When I do, I check my queue. In my queue, I found the unicorn of tickets. A ticket that is not only filled out with all the proper information, but all the troubleshooting had been done and documented. Now, when I say all the troubleshooting, I mean all the troubleshooting. I was looking over the ticket just to see what else I could even do, and after 5 or so minutes I realize I can't do anything remotely more to this. So I reach out to the user via chat. Before I get into that, I do want to go into the issue a bit. The user is having issues connecting an external SSD to his MacBook. It works fine on his Windows machine, but the Mac will only acknowledge the drive is plugged in and nothing more. It worked with no issues the day before, but the issue popped up the day he called in to create the ticket. He has reformatted the drive to a format that should have worked, and surprise, surprise, it didn't work. Okay, back to the story. Me, hello, I'm with the Tier 2 support team. I see you have a ticket opened on your behalf. After looking over the ticket, it would appear that all the remote troubleshooting was done. I'll need you to send the drive in so that we can test it on our end and possibly reformat if we need to. However, you can also try to procure a new external drive if and skip sending it in. Which route would you like to take? User, hello, I know this isn't an issue with the SSD, I've already reformatted it. It worked just fine yesterday. Me, the issue is, that does sound like a problem with the drive. And yes, as stated above, all the troubleshooting that can be done remotely was done. User, the drive works fine, it's not the drive. But if the drive is not working as intended on a device, then, dear readers, it is not working as intended. I'm sure most of you can agree on that fact. User, there has to be something happening when it connects to the Windows machine, then that's causing it to not work on the Mac. Me, to my knowledge, no, nothing in the Windows machine should affect this. As stated in the initial message, you can send the drive and we can test it on our end. Beyond that, sir, there is nothing we can do. Some time goes by. User, if we order a new drive, are you able to send an external SSD? I explain to the user at this point that he can use the request description to specify what he needs, but I cannot guarantee anything as it is a different team that handles that. I try to bring up him sending the drive in for troubleshooting, but he ignores the messages. Some more time goes by. User, one more question, I only need the Windows machine for a certain software. Can you install a generic Windows 10 image on it? Me, like a normal insert company name here, image? User, yeah. I think some security issues are causing the drive problem. Me, no sir, I can't do that without special permission from our security team, since that would be a huge security violation. User, oh. Me, again sir, if it's related to the drive you can send it in to us and we can take a look at it. User, what would I need to do to get approval for the generic Windows image? Me, try and keep my hand from hitting my face, you'd have to reach out to our security team, it really would be easier to just send the drive in for troubleshooting though. User, still ignoring me, asking him to send the drive in, I'll reach out to security then, thanks. I really want to know why he seemed to be so against sending that drive in, especially since it is the easiest and most direct way to resolve his issue. Story 2. Next time, please read the full email. Ticket from an end user, my login for this app isn't working. Ticket text, I'm trying to log into our app. The username is right, but my password stopped working. Can you help reset it? As it happens, the IT department doesn't have access to the credentials to the app she was using, so I forwarded the ticket to the HR department, which sets the credentials. They replied within 5 minutes with this. I have reset your password for this app. Please be sure to copy and paste it in as it will not work if it is typed. Thanks. Password here. I copied and pasted the entirety of their reply email into our ticket system and closed the ticket. 3 hours later, the ticket was reopened by the lady who submitted it, saying the password still wasn't working. I thought that was odd, as HR rarely made mistakes when changing passwords, so I got her on the phone, opened the email our ticket system showed her, copied the password, and pasted it into her app. It immediately asked her to pick a new password, signaling that it worked. Here's how that conversation went. Me, so. By chance, did you read the top portion of the email? The part before the password itself, that is. Her, no, we get so much that when password emails come in, I just look at the password and try typing it in. Me, would you mind reading the top portion of the email for me? Her, loud sigh. Her, 15 seconds later, after reading it, an even louder sigh. Me, so. Her. I'm sorry, I'm just an idiot. Me, you aren't the only one who got caught by this, trust me. You want to pick a new password real quick to see if it'll let you in? She proceeded to type mismatched passwords 3 times before finally getting it correct and successfully logging in. I don't know why HR uses passwords that you have to copy and paste. I think they generate the passwords somewhere that uses weird Unicode letters that don't work properly when you type them, so the only option is to copy and paste them. I know this from experience, because when I told her that other people had been caught by this, I happened to be one of them. Another person a few years ago had the same issue and I was on the line with him for about 15 minutes, typing it in over and over until we finally just tried copying/pasting. When that worked, I finally read the email myself and realized what was going on. Story 3. We need more security. Except now when it impacts me. I'm sure a lot of my brothers and sisters in tech support know the pain of cyber insurance. You push all year to get a security initiative through and it's nothing but brick walls, then when cyber insurance requires it. You gotta do it now. We just finished implementing some long overdue security controls, two-factor auth, DMARC, ECT, because the CFO really wants us to have these insurance policies. So I thought he was all in with security. Reality doesn't quite match up. CFO, I'm trying to reset my password on the loan site Zizloan. And the reset email isn't coming through. Can you see if it's blocked? Me, I'm looking in the logs and I can see an email with the subject password reset for Zizloans. That arrived at the email server and was rejected. It didn't pass DMARC and the sender's domain records say to reject those messages. So it was rejected. CFO, what's a DMARC? I really need this email. Me, it's an email security system that prevents spoofing emails. CFO, just turn off DMARC. This email is important. Me, it's not my DMARC to turn off. The configuration is controlled by Zizloans. And they are the ones who control what to do with emails. They have said to reject emails that don't pass DMARC and this email doesn't pass, so we rejected it. It's a misconfiguration on their side, but they need to fix it. CFO, do we have DMARC? On our email? Me, yes, DMARC is set up. The failure action is to reject any emails that don't pass. CFO, so you're saying I could send an email to someone and it just gets rejected? Me, if our DMARC records were set up improperly, yes. I'd have to go in and correct them. You won't see that unless something changes with our infrastructure, which is rare. CFO, that's no good. I can't risk having my important emails rejected. We've got to turn off DMARC on all our domains immediately. Me, facepalm yeah. I'll get right on that /s. Needless to say, DMARC will stay turned on for our domains. Story 4. That's not a computer. My first IT role was as a help desk technician for a large agricultural company. It involved driving around to a lot of different sites to troubleshoot antiquated desktops and printers. It also involved helping a lot of farmer types who can barely even operate a computer. I once received a ticket from an office secretary, we'll call her Nancy, saying the following. My boss, Joe, said yesterday his computer won't turn on. He's not in the office today, he's semi-retired and only comes in once a week. Can you please come and look at his computer? I have a key to let you into his office. I drive to the site. Nancy lets me into Joe's office. I find a desk with a monitor and a mouse sitting on it. The mouse is plugged into the monitor via USB. The monitor has only one other cable connected, a power cable plugged into the surge protector below the desk. I look around the room to make sure I'm not missing anything, but that's it. That's his whole setup. I go back to Nancy's desk and ask, "Do you know if Joe takes his computer home with him?" She gives me a confused look and says, "No, that's his computer in there." Does he have the wrong one? It's at this moment that I realize I will have to break the news to this nice woman that the surge protector isn't a computer. I go into full bedside manner mode, a skill I really had to work on for this role. Oh, I only see a surge protector in there. Is it possible Joe mistook that for his computer? It would seem his computer is missing from the room, which explains why the monitor isn't getting a signal. She looks shocked. You mean that's not a computer? But that's what his setup has looked like for months. No wonder he's been complaining about it this whole time. After this incident, Joe continued to insist that the surge protector was his computer and that it had worked for him before. It wasn't until we had him come into the office and we provided a thorough explanation of what a typical computer setup should look like that he conceded and allowed his secretary to purchase him a new one. We never figured out what happened to his old computer.